Chapter 1. The Now, Your Gateway to Freedom. Friends, how often do you find yourself caught in a whirlwind of thoughts, replaying yesterday's conversations, or anxiously planning for tomorrow? This constant mental chatter, this relentless obsession with the past and future, is the very thing that steals your joy. Imagine a tightrope walker, constantly looking back at where they've been or worrying about the end of the rope. Would they ever be able to appreciate the beauty of the view, the exhilaration of the balancing act itself? No, they'd be too consumed by fear and regret to truly live. The same is true for us. When we're stuck in the past, reliving mistakes or clinging to old hurts, we miss the gifts that the present moment offers. Similarly, when we're consumed by worries and anxieties about the future, we rob ourselves of the peace and contentment that is available to us right now. We forget to enjoy the journey, getting caught up in the destination. The key to unlocking lasting happiness, the secret to true freedom, lies in understanding the immense power of the now. The present moment is all that truly exists. The past is gone, a memory that can no longer be changed. The future is not yet here, it is just a possibility, a projection of the mind. Only the now is real. It is in this very moment that life unfolds, that opportunities arise, and that joy can be experienced. Let's say Michael is driving to work, constantly thinking about a presentation he has to give later. He's rehearsing lines in his head, worrying about potential questions, and completely missing the beautiful sunrise over the mountains. He's letting the anxiety of the future steal the beauty of the present. Now, imagine Michael decides to focus on his driving, feeling the steering wheel in his hands, noticing the colors of the sky, and listening to the sounds of the road. He might still have a little anxiety about the presentation, but he's not letting it consume him. He's present, aware, and able to appreciate the moment. That's the power of the now. It allows you to step out of the mental prison of past regrets and future anxieties and experience the richness of life as it is happening. It's your gateway to freedom, your path to lasting peace and happiness. Are you ready to step through it? Chapter 3. Time. The illusion that binds you. Friends, how often do you find yourselves lost in thoughts of yesterday or worries about tomorrow? We live in a world obsessed with time. Tick, tock, the clock dictates our lives, our schedules, our very existence. But what if I told you that much of our suffering comes not from what is, but from our entanglement with this illusion of time? Think about it. When you are truly happy, truly engaged in something, do you notice the clock? Probably not. You're present, absorbed, in the flow. Time seems to disappear. It's only when we dwell on the past or anticipate the future that we experience anxiety, regret, and fear. The past, my friends, is a story, a memory. It can inform us, but it cannot define us now. Ruminating on past mistakes or missed opportunities keeps us trapped in a cycle of negativity, preventing us from fully experiencing the present moment's potential. Similarly, the future is merely a projection, a possibility. Planning is wise, certainly, but allowing future anxieties to consume you is futile. The future doesn't exist yet. It's an imagined scenario, often far removed from reality. Consider this. A person gets worried about a presentation next week. They spend days agonizing over it, imagining the worst-case scenarios, forgetting their lines, facing tough questions, disappointing their boss. This worry consumes them, stealing their joy and energy right now. But next week when they actually present, it goes perfectly well, or maybe with slight problems. All that wasted energy, all that stolen joy, for a future that never materialized as feared, and if problems arise they tackle it then and there. So, how do we break free from this illusion of time? Here's a simple exercise. For the next few minutes, focus on your breath. Notice the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Feel your feet on the ground. Listen to the sounds around you. When a thought about the past or future arises, acknowledge it, but gently guide your attention back to the present moment. Don't judge yourself for thinking. Simply observe and redirect. This act of conscious awareness, of returning to the now, is the key. The more we practice it, the stronger our connection to the present becomes, and the weaker the grip of time's illusion. You will start valuing the present moment more and more, and slowly let go of past regrets and future worries. Remember, my friends, the only moment that truly matters is now. Embrace it, live it fully, and discover the freedom that lies beyond the confines of time. Chapter 4: Your Body, Anchoring You in the Present. Friends, have you ever felt lost in your thoughts, disconnected from the world around you, drifting through life like a ship without an anchor? The key to grounding yourself, to finding that anchor, lies within your own body. Your body is a remarkable instrument, constantly sending you messages, yet how often do we actually listen? We're so busy caught up in our heads that we ignore the subtle whispers of our physical being. We might feel a tension in our shoulders, a tightness in our chest, or a fluttering in our stomach and dismiss it without a second thought. Think of your body as a direct line to the present moment. It exists solely in the now. Your thoughts can wander to the past or future, but your body is always here. Body awareness is the practice of paying attention to your physical sensations. It's about tuning into the sensations of touch, pressure, temperature, and movement. It's about noticing the rhythm of your breath, the beating of your heart, and the subtle shifts in your posture. How can we cultivate this connection? Let me share a couple of simple, but powerful techniques. Mindful breathing. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes if you wish, and simply bring your attention to your breath. Feel the air as it enters your nostrils, expands your chest, and gently exits. Don't try to change your breath. Just observe it. Notice the rise and fall of your abdomen. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently guide it back to your breath. Do this for just 5 minutes, and you'll be amazed how grounded and centered you feel. Mindful movement. This doesn't have to mean an intense workout. It could be as simple as stretching your arms overhead, slowly rotating your neck, or taking a walk in nature. The key is to pay attention to the sensations created by the movement. Feel the muscles stretching, the joints rotating, the ground beneath your feet. Let's try a quick exercise. Wiggle your toes. Really feel the movement. Notice the sensations in your feet. Now, clench your fists and then release them. Did you feel the tension and then the release? That simple awareness, that's the power of connecting with your body. Practice these techniques regularly, my friends, and you'll discover a powerful tool for grounding yourself in the present moment. Your body is your anchor, your compass, and your guide. Learn to listen to it, and you'll find a sense of peace and stability that you never thought possible. Chapter 5: Acceptance, the Key to Inner Peace. Friends, how often do we find ourselves fighting against what is? We wish things were different, we lament the past, we fear the future. This resistance, this constant struggle, is the very source of our unhappiness. Acceptance isn't about liking everything that happens. It's not about saying, "Oh, this is great," when something painful occurs. Instead, acceptance is acknowledging what is, without judgment, without resistance. Imagine a rainy day. You planned a picnic, but the rain ruins your plans. You can get angry, frustrated, and let the rain ruin your entire day. Or, you can accept that it's raining. You can choose to find joy in the moment as it is. Maybe listen to music, read a book, or spend time with loved ones indoors. The rain is still there, but your response determines your peace. Now, it's important to distinguish acceptance from resignation. Resignation is passive. It's giving up, feeling defeated. Acceptance, on the other hand, is active and empowered. Let's say someone is unkind to you. Resignation would sound like this: "Oh well, that's just how people are. I guess I'll just have to put up with it." Acceptance, powerfully, sounds like this: "This person is acting unkindly right now. How do I want to respond from a place of self-respect and wisdom?" Maybe you set a boundary, maybe you choose to forgive, maybe you simply walk away. Either way, you are choosing your response from a place of acceptance, not a place of feeling victimized. Acceptance isn't a one-time event. It's a practice. It's a moment-by-moment choice to let go of resistance and embrace what is. It allows us to respond to challenges with greater clarity, wisdom, and, ultimately, inner peace. Chapter 6: Thoughts. Observe, don't become them. Think of your mind like a busy street. Cars, buses, motorcycles, thoughts, all rushing past. Most of the time, we jump into a passing car and let it drive us. We identify with the thought, believe it, and act upon it, whether it's helpful or harmful. But what if you could stand on the sidewalk, simply watching the traffic go by? That is the essence of observing your thoughts. Your thoughts aren't you. They are mental events, electrical impulses firing in your brain. They are not absolute truths. They are stories, opinions, judgments, memories, possibilities, often colored by your past experiences and fears. Imagine you're planning a trip. One thought might be, "This will be so relaxing." Another might scream, "Something terrible is going to happen." Which one is true? Neither. They are simply thoughts. The problem arises when we believe every thought. Believing the "something terrible" thought will immediately create anxiety. However, by recognizing it as just one possibility racing by, you keep your inner peace. The key is to create distance. How do we distance ourselves? Through mindfulness. Try this simple exercise. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Focus on your breath. Now, as thoughts arise, and they will, simply notice them. Acknowledge them without judgment. Say to yourself, "Oh, look, there's a thought about what to eat for dinner." Or, "There's a thought about that meeting tomorrow." Don't engage with it. Don't analyze it. Just let it pass, like a cloud drifting across the sky. Gently bring your attention back to your breath each time your mind wanders. At first, this may feel difficult. Your mind is used to being a runaway train, but with practice, you'll develop the ability to observe your thoughts with detachment. You might start to notice patterns, recurring negative thoughts, anxieties linked to specific events. This awareness is powerful. It allows you to choose how you respond. Instead of being carried away by worry, you can observe the worry, acknowledge it, and then consciously choose a more peaceful thought or action. The more you practice observing your thoughts, the less power they will have over you. You'll begin to experience a sense of inner freedom, a space between you and your mind. You'll realize you are not your thoughts. You are the one who is aware of them. And that awareness is your true power. Chapter 7. Emotions. Ride the waves of feeling. Friends, emotions. We all have them. Some feel good, some not so much. But are you letting your emotion wash over you? Or are you drowning in it? Think of emotions like waves in the ocean. They come, they build, they crash, and then they recede. You wouldn't try to stop the ocean from having waves, would you? Similarly, you shouldn't try to completely block your emotions. Trying to suppress them, to pretend they aren't there, is like trying to hold back an ocean with your bare hands. It's exhausting and ultimately fruitless. Instead, learn to ride the wave. First, become aware of what you're feeling. Name it. I am feeling angry. I am feeling sad. Just acknowledging the emotion already takes away some of its power. Next, observe the emotion. Where do you feel it in your body? Does your chest feel tight? Is your jaw clenched? Just noticing the physical sensations anchors you in the present moment. You are observing the emotion, not becoming it. For example, let's say a colleague at work is constantly undermining your ideas. You feel anger rising inside you. Instead of immediately reacting with harsh words, pause. Name the emotion. I am feeling angry. Feel the anger in your body. Maybe your face is flushed, your hands are clenched. Simply observing these sensations helps you to detach from the feeling. Do not attach stories and judgment to the emotion. The wave rises and falls due to natural reasons. The job is to ride the wave without attaching to it. Remember, emotions are temporary. They are energy in motion. They will pass. The wave will crash, and the ocean will return to calm. By practicing awareness and acceptance, you can learn to navigate even the most challenging emotions with grace and understanding. This isn't about becoming emotionless, it is all about becoming conscious. Chapter 8. Relationships. A mirror to yourself. Relationships. They're the spice of life, the joy, the challenge, sometimes even the heartache. But did you ever stop to consider they're also one of the most accurate mirrors you'll ever find? Most of us believe that our relationship problems are caused by the other person. He's too controlling. She's too needy. Sound familiar? But what if I told you that these external issues are often just reflections of something happening inside you? Think of it this way. If you're constantly critical of others, is it possible you're being overly critical of yourself? If you feel constantly let down, are you, perhaps, letting yourself down in some way? Practicing presence in your relationships is key. When you're fully present, you can truly listen to what the other person is saying, both verbally and non-verbally. You're not just waiting for your turn to speak. You're not judging or planning your response. You're simply being there, fully attentive. Acceptance is another vital ingredient. Accept your partner, friend, or family member for who they are, not who you wish they would be. This doesn't mean condoning bad behavior, but it does mean letting go of the need to control or change them. A young man, let's call him David, constantly complained about his friend, let's call him Mark, always being late, saying, "He never respects my time." But when David looked honestly at himself, he realized he was often late for his own commitments, telling himself, "It's just 5 minutes, it doesn't matter." David's expectations on Mark reflected his own lack of self-respect. Non-judgment is crucial. When you judge someone, you're not seeing them clearly. You're projecting your own fears and insecurities onto them. Try to see the other person with compassion and understanding. Conflicts are inevitable in any relationship. However, how you handle those conflicts makes all the difference. Instead of reacting with anger or defensiveness, take a moment to pause. Breathe. Observe your emotions. And then, communicate your needs and feelings clearly and respectfully. Effective communication is about speaking your truth without blame or criticism. It's about listening to understand, not to respond. Use I statements rather than you statements. For example, instead of saying, "You always make me feel unimportant," try saying, "I feel unimportant when." Creating fulfilling connections means being authentic. Be yourself. Don't try to be someone you think the other person wants you to be. Share your passions, your vulnerabilities, and your true self. Remember, your relationships are a mirror reflecting your inner world. By practicing presence, acceptance, and non-judgment, you can not only improve your relationships with others but, more importantly, deepen your relationship with yourself. My friends, life, in its beautiful complexity, also brings pain. Suffering is unavoidable. It's part of the human experience. But how we react to pain, that is our choice and that defines us. Think of a climber scaling a mountain. They stumble, they fall, they get hurt. The climber might feel pain. Should the climb continue? Should the climber start doubting climb? Suffering can consume them if they choose to focus only on the pain. But what if, instead, they see the fall as a lesson, a chance to readjust their grip, to learn the terrain better? Then, the pain becomes a teacher. Many of us instinctively resist pain. However, avoidance only amplifies the suffering. True transformation comes when we stop fighting and start acknowledging the pain, when we allow ourselves to feel it fully, without judgment. Imagine a person loses their job. The immediate reaction might be despair, anger, and fear. They think, "Why me?" These feelings are valid, but dwelling on them, on the why, keeps you trapped. Shifting the focus to the now, what can I do now, opens the door to solutions. Perhaps this is an opportunity to pursue a passion, to learn a new skill, or to reassess career goals. Suffering, often, reveals what truly matters. It strips away the superficial and forces us to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. It can lead to profound self-discovery, strengthening our resilience and compassion. Embrace the present moment, even when it's painful. Look for the lessons hidden within the experience. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger, more compassionate, or more understanding? Finding meaning in pain is not about pretending it doesn't hurt. It's about choosing to see beyond the pain, to recognize its potential for growth, and to emerge from the experience wiser, kinder, and more connected to the core of your being. It is about resilience, not resistance. Chapter 11. Surrender. Letting go of control. Friends, how often do we grip things so tightly, afraid to let go? We plan, we scheme, we try to force life into the shape we want. But what happens when life has other plans? What happens when the unexpected arrives, throwing our carefully constructed world into disarray? This is where surrender comes in. Now, I'm not talking about giving up. Surrender isn't about waving the white flag and accepting defeat. It's about understanding that you are not in control of everything. It's about releasing the need to control, to manipulate, to force. Imagine you're rowing a boat. You can fight the current, straining every muscle, becoming exhausted and frustrated. Or, you can surrender to the current, adjusting your course slightly, working with the flow instead of against it. Which do you think will be more effective and more peaceful? Trusting the flow of life doesn't mean becoming passive. It means being present, aware, and responsive. It means taking action when necessary, but without the attachment to a specific outcome. It means understanding that sometimes, the greatest strength lies in letting go. Let's say a person loses their job. The initial reaction might be panic, anger, and fear. The need to control kicks in. They start frantically applying for anything and everything, driven by desperation. But what if, instead, they paused, took a breath, and surrendered to the situation? What if they used this unexpected turn as an opportunity for growth, for exploring new possibilities, for discovering passions they never knew they had? This is the power of surrendering, finding opportunity in crisis. Uncertainty can be scary, I understand. But uncertainty is also the fertile ground for growth and discovery. When you surrender to the unknown, you open yourself up to possibilities you never could have imagined. So, how do we surrender and allow events to unfold naturally? Begin by noticing where you're holding on too tightly. What are you trying to control? What are you resisting? Acknowledge these areas, and then gently begin to loosen your grip. Practice acceptance. Accept the present moment as it is, without judgment. Train yourself to trust the process of life. Trust brings peace. Chapter 12. Silence, the space between thoughts. We are constantly bombarded with noise. Traffic, phones, our own never-ending thoughts. It's a relentless barrage that leaves little room for peace, clarity, or connection to ourselves. But within the chaos, there exists a sanctuary, silence. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's an active state. It's a space where the chattering mind can finally rest, where the ego's demands fade into the background, and where a deeper sense of awareness can emerge. Think of a pond. When the water is still, you can see clearly to the bottom. But when the wind whips across the surface, the water becomes murky, and your vision is obscured. Our minds are similar. When they're constantly agitated by thoughts and worries, we lose sight of our true selves. Silence allows the mental pond to calm, revealing the clarity that was always there. How do we find this silence? The most accessible path is through practices like meditation and mindfulness. You don't need to sit for hours in a secluded cave. Even 5 minutes of focused breathing each day can make a profound difference. Find a quiet spot. Close your eyes, if that feels comfortable. Focus on your breath. Feel the air entering your lungs, expanding your chest, and then slowly releasing. When thoughts arise, and they will, simply acknowledge them without judgment and gently guide your attention back to your breath. Imagine watching the thoughts float past like clouds in the sky. You don't need to grab onto them or analyze them. Just observe. Another way to cultivate silence is through mindful activities. When you're walking, pay attention to the sensation of your feet on the ground. When you're washing dishes, focus on the feel of the water on your hands. When you're eating, savor each bite, noticing the flavors and textures. By being fully present in these everyday moments, you create pockets of silence amidst the noise. Recently, I met a lovely person named John. John struggled with constant anxiety. His mind was always racing, replaying past events and worrying about the future. He was exhausted. I suggested he try just 5 minutes of mindful breathing each morning. Initially, he found it frustrating. The thoughts wouldn't stop, but he persisted. Slowly, over time, he began to notice a subtle shift. The thoughts were still there, but they didn't have the same power. He could observe them without being swept away. He found brief moments of peace. And those moments of peace, those tiny spaces of silence, began to expand into his daily life. Silence is not a destination to be reached, but a practice to be cultivated. It's about creating space within yourself, even amidst the demands of a busy life. Embrace the silence. Discover the peace that awaits. Chapter 13: Death, the Ultimate Teacher. Friends, let's talk about death. It's a topic that most people avoid like the plague. We fear it, we ignore it, we pretend it's not coming. But by doing so, we miss out on a profound and powerful lesson. Death isn't something out there, a distant event that happens to other people. It's an integral part of life. Just as a seed must die for a plant to grow, so too must our old selves, our old identities, to make space for something new and better. Thinking about death doesn't have to be morbid. It can be life-affirming. Imagine you were told you only had 1 month to live. What would you do differently? What would you stop doing? Who would you spend time with? Would you still worry about that petty argument at work? Would you still put off that dream trip? Probably not. You'd focus on what truly matters: love, connection, meaningful experiences. You'd live in the present moment, because that's all you'd have. Contemplating death helps us to clarify our values. It forces us to confront the impermanence of everything. That shiny new car, the approval of your boss, the perfect Instagram photo, they all fade away. What remains are the connections we forge, the love we share, the contributions we make to the world. Consider a man, we'll call him John, who spent his entire life chasing money and status. He was so busy accumulating things that he neglected his family and his own well-being. Only when faced with a serious illness did he realize what he'd missed. He regretted not spending more time with his children, not telling his wife how much he loved her, not pursuing his passions. He realized that all the money in the world couldn't buy him back those lost moments. Death is a powerful teacher because it reminds us that life is finite. It's a precious gift, not to be wasted on trivial pursuits. When we embrace the reality of death, we can truly begin to live. We can let go of our fears, our anxieties, our regrets, and focus on what matters most. We can live each day with intention, with gratitude, with love. Don't wait until you're facing your own mortality to start living this way. Start now. Embrace the present moment. Cherish your loved ones. Pursue your passions. And remember, death isn't the end. It's just a doorway to something new. What matters is how you live your life now, in this moment. My friends, let death be your teacher, and let that teaching guide you to a richer, more meaningful, and more present life. Chapter 14: The Awakened State, Living Beyond the Mind. Imagine standing on a mountaintop. Below you stretches a vast landscape, the clouds drift lazily, and a gentle breeze whispers past. You're not thinking about your to-do list, or yesterday's argument, or tomorrow's worries. You are simply there, present, aware, engulfed in the now. This, in essence, is a glimpse of the awakened state. It's a state where the constant chatter of the mind quiets down. The you that you thought you were, defined by your thoughts, emotions, and past experiences, begins to fade into the background. What remains is pure awareness, a sense of being, a feeling of deep connection to something larger than yourself. Awakening isn't a destination, it's a process, a journey of ongoing self-discovery. It's about cultivating a consistent state of presence, learning to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, and choosing to respond to life from a place of calm and clarity. Think of John, who always get angry at everything. Initially, he identified with his anger. I am angry, he'd say. But through practice, through observing his emotional state, he began to see the anger as a wave passing through him. He realized he wasn't the anger itself, but the space in which the anger arose. This shift in perception gave him the power to choose how he responded, rather than being controlled by his emotions. Cultivating this awakened state requires consistent effort. Meditate, practice mindfulness, and engage with activities that bring you fully into the present moment. Be patient with yourself. There will be times when you feel lost in thought, overwhelmed by emotions, or gripped by the ego. That's okay. Simply acknowledge it, and gently guide yourself back to the present. The promise of the awakened state is lasting peace and freedom. It's a life lived with greater awareness, compassion, and joy. It's about realizing that you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not your past. You are the awareness that allows these things to exist. Embrace the journey, embrace the now, and awaken to the extraordinary potential that lies within you. Chapter 15. Living in the Now, a Lifelong Journey. Friends, living in the now isn't a switch you flick on and then forget about. It's more like learning to ride a bike. You'll wobble, you might fall, but you keep getting back on. This is a journey, not a destination. There will be days when your mind is a calm lake, reflecting the clear sky. Other days, it'll be a stormy sea, tossing you around with waves of worry and regret. That's okay, that's life. The key is compassion for yourself. Don't beat yourself up when you find yourself lost in thought or consumed by emotions. Simply gently guide yourself back to the present. Think of it like training a puppy. You wouldn't yell at it for not understanding immediately, would you? You'd use patience and kindness. Treat yourself the same way. One thing that can help is establishing daily practices. Maybe it's 5 minutes of mindful breathing each morning. Perhaps it's taking a walk in nature and truly noticing the sights, sounds, and smells around you. For example, when you are washing dishes, feel the warm water on your hands, focus on the smell of the soap, and the clinking of the plates. These moments, no matter how small, are like little anchors that keep you grounded in the present. Another helpful technique is to ask yourself throughout the day, what am I doing right now? This simple question can pull you out of mental loops and bring you back to your senses. Remember, progress isn't always linear. There will be setbacks. There will be times when you feel like you're back at square one. Don't despair. These are opportunities to learn and grow, to deepen your understanding of yourself and the power of the present moment. When you are feeling overwhelmed, step back. Take a deep breath. Acknowledge what you are feeling. And then, gently remind yourself, this too shall pass. The journey of living in the now is a beautiful one. It's a journey of self-discovery, of finding peace within yourself, and of experiencing life in all its fullness. Embrace the journey, be patient with yourself, and remember that every moment is a new beginning. The present is all you ever have. Make the most of it.